Good morning and welcome. Patriot Radio News Hour. I'm Joe Jaquin, CEO of the Patriot Trading Group, and the website at allamericangold.com. Make sure you make it part of your daily routine out there. Don't forget the website at 1360khnc.com, our radio station up there in Colorado. Make sure you go to that blog page. Listen, really starting to get some really good content on our blog page. The podcast section, you can listen to so many of the shows out there. We now even have shows that we don't even have on the air out there, so check that out as well. We got a big event coming back to the radio station tomorrow night and I forget, Jason told me what it was. I forget. I apologize. I'll get that information to you. I know Jason and the Open Forum guys have been letting know there. Or not Glenn Beck. Come on. Wow. We got David Knight coming the first Monday in May. So be ready for that. He is going to be on the hour before me. So Brian Kilmeade will be on for 2 hours, then David Knight, then this show, and then the rest of the lineup. So we got a lot of great things going on. And then, of course, our CBD products, which every day, it seems like, people commenting about how it's been helping them. Go check it out. If you hit the shopping cart button, we've added an interview with Jerry. Jerry owns My Kind CBD. He's the mad scientist that can help some of you. Maybe if you got questions that will educate you. We're going to be adding to that as well. We're going to create little 5-minute videos on the different CBD products to help you understand what's better. The retinol cream, just getting all kinds of fantastic feedback. And Jerry said it's probably the best thing they've done in a long, long time. Of course, everyone wants to look younger. I get it, right? And everything's on video and social media and cameras and Zoom meetings and all the rest. And one of the things, if you listen, it's not just for the ladies. You want to look 10 years younger, give it a shot. I know here at the office, big hit at the office. My wife's a big fan. Brittany just raves about it. Give it a shot. I'm telling you, it really is revolutionary in what they do. So when you go out to the shopping cart section, right above the products, we got just a brief, paragraph about My Kind CBD. Right at the very end, we have the conversation with Jerry. Just click it. It's in red. Just click on that. And we got about 30 minutes of Jerry talking about all the CBD products and whatnot. We figured that would help a lot of people. Maybe if you have questions, and don't be afraid. You can always email us your questions. We'll forward them on to Jerry and get those answers for you. I think that's all of my announcements. Tomorrow, I guess I got one more. Tomorrow, I won't be on the air. Jason will fill in for me. I've got some things going on with my oldest son, who is he's a junior in college. And we have some Zoom meeting thing that we've got to do. And then my wife and I are actually hopping on a plane. We're going to go to Chicago. That's the football season for where my son plays football. They played in the spring. Kind of like NAU, USC, the smaller schools played in the spring in the last game. So we're gonna go and it may be my son's last game. He's undecided whether he'll return for his senior year because he's got this job, and we're pretty excited about it. So my wife and I, we got this Zoom meeting we got to do, and then we got to head to the airport to go up there. But Jason will job, and he's always got a fantastic spin on a lot of things out there. Got a lot of things to talk about today. We've got some profit taking finally, and it's not a lot, but a little bit. in gold and silver. Buy the dip. Absolutely buy the dip. All these charts are just lining up very, very bullishly, and rightfully so. But we want to get this, and this is what we want. We want higher low highs, higher lows, and higher highs. That stair step effect, and that's what we're getting here today. And again, like I said, it's not a lot, but a little bit. The Dow is down today. We had jobless claims out. We had existing home sales out. We'll talk about that. And I hate to say it, I'm going to update you again on lumber. How much? I guess I'll leave you this going into the break. How much does a sheet of plywood cost? And I will tell you right now, listen, I'm not very handy. The last sheet of plywood bought in my family was my two kids bought a sheet of plywood to play a drinking game of all things. And that was like a year ago. I don't even know what they paid for it. I have no idea what a sheet of plywood, if you went down to Lowe's or Home Depot, what would it cost? I'll tell you the answer when we get back. 800-951-0 Radio News Hour. Yeah, so my older son and his buddies, when COVID hit, they all got sent home, right? All the colleges closed, everyone got sent home, and they came back with this drinking game. And they call it beer die. And you take a standard, 3/4 inch sheet of plywood, and you draw a line, if you will, down the middle of the sheet, and you got a regular dice like you play Monopoly with, and you got to throw them 15, 20 feet in the air, and it's actually a lot of fun. I suck at it, but I played it a few times. But that's my extent of buying a sheet of plywood. Okay, I have no idea what it could possibly cost. But I've been telling you about lumber prices, and right. Hey, by the way, corn, soybean prices, the highest they've been in 10 years. Get ready, and they're going higher, by the way. Matter of fact, I don't know if it's an all-time record highs, but don't be shocked if those two commodities enter into this super cycle. They're all going to do it. There's just too much money floating around out there. But when you're to plywood, and we know, a month ago, we're like, hey, it added $24,000 to the cost of a home. That number's outdated now. So when you look at the price of one sheet of plywood a year ago, March, so 13 months ago, March 2020, $37 a sheet. February 2021, okay, so 2 months ago, $72.49. March 2021. So now we're going a few weeks ago. $83.49. Now, I told you earlier in the week, lumber like 3 weeks. Guess what? April. $95.98 for a sheet of 3/4 inch plywood standard. Wow. Really? $100? But don't worry, there's no inflation. Now, here's what's important in all of this. And I want to give credit where credit is due, because this was Michael Snyder is the guy that did the research on this, and I do a lot of his stuff. So he's a source I trust absolutely. So he posted this on Facebook. Facebook flags it as misinformation. And then apparently, because he did the work, he got to another group to verify that what he was saying was actually true. And now I don't know if Facebook has unflagged her, but I guess I had twofold story. One is, this is where we're at now. Facebook will flag, the price of lumber and flag it improperly, by the way. This is how desperate they are to control all of this news. I mean, wouldn't you have thought that's the quote-unquote fact checkers at Facebook would have looked? Right? Well, of course not. The price in the Northwest for, and I don't know what this even is, but I'm going to just read it to you. For the fir 23-32-inch seating for the first week of April was $1,610 per 1,000 square feet. A year ago, it was $560. That's up 287%. By the way, in case you wanted the math on the plywood, up 252%. But I didn't know. I had no idea. Now, I will do this. I'm going to go to Lowe's, because Lowe's, it's just closer. I know where it is. It's right down the street from my office. And I'm going to look and see what they're charging for a sheet of plywood. But I just thought I would throw that out there. People, sometimes you just have no perspective. Why would I know this? Right? When's the last time I bought a sheet of plywood? Actually, in my whole lifetime, probably never. Probably never. I'm not embarrassed to say it. I'm not a handyman. But there you go. $100. Wow. Jobless claims today. It's Thursday. Another improvement. This is, I don't know. I just can't believe it's right. And I guess I should start, and let me start out by saying I can't believe it's right, because I actually think it should be less than what they're saying. But jobless claims for the initial jobless claims, people filing unemployment for the first time, fell to 547,000. Really? We still have 550,000 people every week filing for unemployment claims. That's the number. Now, it's better, right? We're finally back below the all-time highs. But this is something, think about. This is a number that's normally around 200,000 a week. So 547, better. But then remember, we've got all these other government programs. That number, those government programs, actually went up. We went back above 17 million people. So there's 17.4 million people now still collecting unemployment of some sort on all these government payrolls, or all these government unemployment, they're paying you not to work stuff. So it's kind of, I don't know. We'll see how it goes in another 2 weeks. I think it's 2 weeks. Another two. I'm trying to do math in my head here, and I'm not succeeding. Either next Friday, but I think it's the Friday after, we'll get jobs numbers for the month of April. I'm expecting that number to be over 1 million. The problem is, if there's 17 million people not working, right, we probably need to see 3 or 4 million, but still better. Still better. Then we had existing home sales. And everybody's been talking about, right, when is the housing market going to correct, and are we going to see another housing crash? And my answer is probably. But here's the problem. With the cost of all the, we talk about these, and we talk about lumber, we talk about copper, right? But, I mean, it's everything. Labor costs more. The gas to drive and do it from work costs more. To get the products there, to get the product on a ship, to get the product into a truck, right? To get the product delivered to the job site. All of these things are costing, 200-300% more. So they said existing home sales fell again, second straight month, right? Supply is a problem. Price is a problem. We hit a new all-time record high for existing homes. This will be the cheaper of the two. When you have new homes, you have existing homes. This is the cheaper one. And I said the word cheap. Nothing's cheap about housing. Give you an example. I think it was Massachusetts. Median price of a home now. Of an existing home, $750,000. Just to let you know. So here's what they said about existing home sales. I'm trying to get there. It is the median price. So this is, again, the median price is going to be less than the average price. So it's funny, they've switched to the median price. The price of an existing home, they don't like that number anymore. So this is, you take the most expensive home, right? So I'm sure there's a home somewhere in the country sold for $20 or $30 million, right? There's probably a home somewhere out there that sold for $75,000. So you cross those out and you meet in the middle. Hit a new all-time record high of $329,100. Now I bring this up because we got data from the central bank and the Bureau of Labor Statistics, what was it, last week, that said year over year housing rent equivalent something urban dwelling nonsense blah 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 fantasy land number was up 1.2%. Matter of fact, to Jay Powell and his friends, this was the smallest increase in the last 10 years. Excuse me? This is how do you get inflation below 1 point or below 2%? What's the most expensive thing you have? Think about it for just a minute. Okay? Your rent, your mortgage payment, right? That's usually the biggest bill you got. When you think about all the bills you got to pay, right? You got a car payment maybe, right? You got health insurance, right? You got automobile insurance. You got the power bill, the water bill, right? Usually, the most expensive part or the most expensive bill you have, the biggest part of your income goes to paying the mortgage or the rent. So it is very heavily weighted in these inflation numbers. So I just told you the median price for an existing home set a new all-time record high. $329,100. How much more that was than a year ago. So the central bank, Jay Powell and his friends, told us 1.2%. It was 17.2%. It's the highest price ever on record and the fastest pace of appreciation. And I found that one hard to believe. I was like, that's faster than the housing bubble? And I had to look. It was. It's actually the highest appreciation for a home ever. Don't worry, though. Everything's good. Patriot Radio News Hour. We'll be back after the break. 800-951-0592. I apologize. I think we're having some internet issues if we're cutting out a little bit. We are aware of it and working on it. Bear with us. Quick look here. Gold's down 10 right now, 1781, 1782. Silver's down 35 cents here, right around $26.25. The Dow's down about 70 points as well today as we're waiting on infrastructure. I got an update on the infrastructure bill. It looks like they're going to add some earmarks, which that's a nice way of saying pork, right? To get some, they're trying to get some Republicans to vote for it. So remember, they don't want to do the 5150 on this one because, that'll look bad because they got to do it on the next one. And it looks like they're going to reduce some of the corporate tax. Remember, they're going to go back to, I think it was 28%. But they're going to now only go to like 25%. So they're going to pay for even less of it, essentially. But it appears that by next week they could have a deal. So the spending will be a little more. And I don't mean to laugh. And of course, we'll collect a little less, and somehow that's going to be good. I don't know. Just kind of be ready for that. I think we're going to see the next jump up, right? Gold's going to be above 1,800. Silver's going to be above 27 and back on their way. We started speculating a lot. And I don't even know if speculating is the right word. We know we're going to go to a digital currency. We're not paying this debt off. That ship has sailed. Matter of fact, now it's like, okay, well, we know we can't pay it, so let's just go out with a bang, right? Let's just max out all the credit cards, right? You don't think about this. I've never filed for bankruptcy, so I don't know. And if this is wrong, I apologize, but this is what I've heard, right? If you're going to file bankruptcy, might as well just max it all out, right? That's what we're doing. And we're starting to speculate as to how much are you going to get in the new money, right? And then that's where Glenn Beck comes in, and he's saying, hey, they're going to do kind of a social engineering reparations, right, where if you're the right ethnic group, you're going to get more than dollar for dollar. If you're poor, maybe you get dollar for dollar. And then anybody who, you don't fall into the right bucket, you're going to get less. But then it also brings up, what about cash? What's going to happen? What are they going to do? Right? They're most likely are going to set some kind of a date, right? That says, hey, starting on, date X, cash will be worthless, right? I mean, We'll probably have a period. My guess is we're going to have a period where, hey, we got both. Still, you still use your cash, but we got the digital. And then what I would guess, let's just be guessing. If you turn all your cash in now, you're going to get the best exchange rate. And then they'll be like, okay, well, if you're still using cash a year from now, then you're going to get a little less. And 3 years from now, you can't use it at all. That's kind of what I see, right? There's going to be like a timeline. And my guess is they'll punish you the longer you wait. So what are they going to do when you show up at the bank with large amounts of cash? You know, we don't really know. I'm guessing, because they love this $10,000 thing, right? That's their new favorite thing. And I say new this millennial. Right? If you got more than $10,000 in cash and blah, 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 everyone understands this. There's going to be a form. Right? Hey, Schmuckatelli was in here and he had $50,000. And the bank teller's going to ask you questions. They're not being nosy. And a lot of you experience this now. Right? If you go in to make, if you want a large amount of cash when you are making a withdrawal, that you get questions. If you want a big cashier's check, you get questions. Right? These aren't, a lot of people, they're just being nosy. No, not really. See, their little computer screen has these little flags. And if one of these flags comes up, they got to ask the question. And then they click a box. And it's a little report every day at the end of the day. It's kind of like a batch. They batch it up and, it goes off into the IRS land. And then I started thinking about all the seizures that have been going on. And we hear these stories. The police pull somebody over or, what have you. And you have a large amount of cash. And they take it from you. And we've all heard the stories. This happened here in Arizona, and it happens probably every day here. But not all of them make the news. But last year, a man from North Carolina flew into Sky Harbor Airport. And he had just under $40,000 in cash, $39,500. The guy happened to own a small trucking company and says that he was flying to Arizona to attend an auction because they had the truck that he was looking for, the make and the model, and it fit with his fleet, right? And his mechanics know the truck, and he's going to buy this truck. And when he went through the airport, the luggage, he checked it in his luggage. I'll tell you what happened. And is this a precursor to what may happen when we go digital? Patriot Radio News Hour. Don't touch that dial. 800-951-0592. And we're talking about, and this is happening all over the place, right? And people having their money seized. And a lot of times it's funny because here in Arizona, and I know this because I know a bunch of car wholesalers. Arizona, people love buying vehicles from Arizona. They do. Because we don't, so we don't have the salt, right? We don't have the rust, right? So usually the body, if you will, of the vehicle's in much better shape than if it was a car, say, from Denver, right? Because all the, they put the salt on the roads and all that stuff. That makes sense. This guy owns a trunking company, says he's going to go to this auction to buy this truck. He's got $39,500 in his luggage. After landing at Sky Harbor, Johnson was stopped by undercover Phoenix police officers near the baggage claim. They asked, "Who purchased your ticket? Where did you get this money from?" They never asked me anything about my company, and they said I was part of a money laundering investigation. The police seized the money and let him go. Never charged him with anything, and yet still haven't given the guy back his $40,000. Now here's where it gets interesting. Phoenix police say that they received additional information related to the guy that got the money taken. That additional information, this guy had drug charges that were when he was a much younger person. Okay, so not even, new, if you will. Kind of seems kind of funny. But here's where it gets interesting. The Maricopa County Superior Court judge had ruled that Johnson, who was the guy that got the money taken, failed to prove he owned the money and failed to prove it wasn't connected to any crime. Now the case is being appealed. But I bring this up because, what Johnson says is that, you know what, I've been saving this as part of my business. And then he got a loan for the rest. He didn't even have the $40,000. He got a loan from his uncle for the $39,500. It's been 10 months now, and he doesn't have his money back. And I'm just wondering, is that what's going to happen when we have to turn cash in? Well, can you prove that you own that money? How do you prove that you own cash? Right? How do you prove that? Especially if, hey, you know what? Every month, this is how I do it. Every month, you know what? My mom is, and some of you can relate to this. My mom's an envelope person. You guys know what I'm talking about. Some of you out there know what I'm talking about. My mom had that she puts her money in these envelopes. This is for the power bill, and this is for this bill, and this is for this grandson and that grandson. Believe me, she operates with like 30 different envelopes. But let's just say you're a person that, hey, I save some cash every month and I put it in my vault, put it in my little safe at home. Maybe you got $10,000 or $15,000. And again, it's not like that's a lot of money. I mean, it used to be. But I'm sorry, 10 grand isn't that much money. I mean, you can't even buy half of a used car for 10 grand anymore. And I'm wondering how this is going to happen. How can you prove that it's yours? And if you can't prove that it's yours, apparently the law and the justice system is going to say, well, since you can't prove it, it must have been part of a crime. Because that's what the Superior Court judge said when they said, nope, we're not going to give you your money back. Right? You didn't do anything wrong. And believe it or not, domestic travel here in the United States he did nothing wrong. It's not illegal for him to fly with the $39,500 domestically. Apparently, if you get caught with it and you can't prove how you got it, you're going to have a problem. Now, of course, his lawyer says that he absolutely can account for it. We'll see. But and again, I want to reiterate what the Superior Court judge said, that Johnson failed to prove he owned the cash and failed to prove it wasn't connected to any crime. Yeah, think about that one, right? Scary. That's legal? He committed no crime, did nothing wrong. Now we're taking your money anyway because you can't prove you own it. So it must be part of a crime. Patriot Radio News Hour. Final segment coming up. 800-951-0592. That's kind of creepy. Again, I don't know. How do you prove you own it? And if you can't prove you own it, well, then it must be part of a crime. So therefore, we're keeping it. Even though you've done nothing wrong. And I'm just thinking to myself, is that how it's going to be? You know what? Probably. That'd be my guess. Why not, right? I mean, the whole point is we're all going to be left holding the bag at some point. So just be careful. That's all I'm saying. Don't get caught with too much cash not in the banking system whatever this digital currency comes rolling around, because I got to believe it's going to get complicated. Right? It's one thing. You show up with the bank with a couple of grand, no big deal. Right? You know, you show up with 10 buckets of change, right? You're probably going to be okay. But you show up with large amounts, this is probably what's going to happen. This is probably what you're going to be required to do. And if you can't prove it, well, then I guess you must be a criminal. How that makes sense, but that's just another example. Thought I'd put that out there. Today I got a couple of items worth mentioning. We still have the best item I have. If you call me today, what's the best item you have? It's going to be those what's left of the rolls of quarters and or dimes. They may be dimes. I don't know yet. Matter of fact, they're supposed to hit the bullion bank sometime tomorrow, and then they'll be on their way to us. We should have in stock here Tuesday or Wednesday of next week. But at $240, by far, that's if you want a lead pipe, stone cold lead pipe lock of the week, that's it. That's the cheapest price for an ounce of silver that I could find anywhere that's government hallmarked anything. The pre-1965 junk silver rolls, we're going to say they're quarters, but they could be dimes, but $240 for 40 quarters, or you'd get 100 dimes for $240. That's the best buy that I have. On the gold side, I got some $10 liberties. And these are going to be XFAU. So XF's the grade right below AU, and then, of course, AU's almost uncirculated. They're going to be really nice. And, of course, all the stuff we handle is really nice. But it's going to have some less damage to the coins, less coin marks, all that stuff. They're $1,035 if you buy 20 or more. They'll be $5. So if you buy 1 through 19, $1,035. So you'd be getting 2 10s for the same price as a 20. That's always a good deal when you get fractional gold for the same price. If you buy 20 or more, you're actually going to be buying fractional gold for less than you could on a 1 ounce coin. So $1,035, 20 or more, 1025 at 800-951-0592. Patriot Radio News Hour. Jason will be with you tomorrow. Take care. God bless everybody. I'll be back on Monday.